This is the 2018 Paper 2 question 17. I'll give you a chance to pause it now, but safe to say that nobody liked this question because even I will admit it. Back when I did National 5, I would have taken a panic moment if I saw this question in an exam, but once you break it down, it becomes much easier, but it's just knowing how to apply your knowledge of two different sections of the course. So we have this shape and we have to find the shaded region. You notice we have a triangle and we also have a sector. So you notice that the shaded area, so we'll say the shaded area, we're going to call this sorry, AS. We'll call that A with an S below that. We'll call the triangle area AT. It saves us having to write all of this out each time because that will take up a lot of time. But just make it clear to the marker which is which. So we'll call this AT, and the sector area, we've already used AS, so you would think to use AS, but you can't. We'll call this one A dot. You could use ABC, you could use anything else, but the point is that it saves you writing out each of the headings. We can first of all find the area of the triangle, and if we draw this out, we're going to ignore the partition between the shaded region and the sector. We're talking about OBC, just the entire thing. So that is O, B, and C. The dimensions are not given on the shape. You have to read the text. So OB is 38. And OC is 55. And the angle is 75. And they want you to find the first step is to find the area of this. The formula for the area is given to you as 1/2 AB sine of C. But if you know in trigonometry, we have, in this case, we have OBC instead of ABC. But it doesn't matter, we can adapt the formula here. So we have the area of the triangle is, and we will use purple to label the sides. So the angles are the capital letters and the sides are the small letters, and it's the opposite. So it's B and C. That is 1/2 B. We know B, we know C, and we know this angle, so we say that's 1/2 B C sine of O. So as you see, we've adapted the 1/2 AB sine of C because the angle is this O, and we know small b and small c. Remember, sides are the small letters and the capital letters are the angles. So our B is 55. Our C is 38. And the sine of O, well, O is 75, so we put times the sine of 75. And you want to plug this into the calculator, and remember to use degrees, not radians. You don't need to use, or you shouldn't use radians at all until you get to higher, because it will give you the wrong answer in any trigonometry related questions. Sorry. And do not round too early because it will mess up the final answer. So I'm going to leave 4 decimal places at the minute, and the units of centimetres squared. It's area, so it's squared, and the lengths of the sides are given in centimetres, so that's us found the area. The next part is the sector, and we're told that the sector is A dot, and a sector is just a fraction or a portion of a circle. So the way to do this is to find the area of a circle and then multiply this by the angle divided by 360. And it's the angle at the centre. So 75, so we find that in the sector AOD, the radius is 30. Do not put 38 or 55 because those are the sides of the triangle, and for the purposes of finding the area of the sector, they're irrelevant. So you put pi times 30 squared times 75 over 360. And if you plug this into the calculator, I recommend using pi and not 3.14. If you plug that in, you will get 589.0486. Going to keep the 4 decimal places, 0486 centimetres squared. If you have a look, if you take away the sector area from the total area, you get the shaded is AS, and that's triangle take away the sector. Pause the video and have a look at that if you don't understand why I've written this. So let's substitute the values that we got up here. So that's this. $3925 take away the sector is 589.0486, and you're going to plug this into the calculator and you're going to write it down again to 4 decimal places. We will deal with rounding in a second. We get 420.3439. And I'm going to round it to 1 decimal place. I think that's enough. I think 4 is too many. So we'll say to 1 decimal place, we'll say the shaded area equals 420.3, and our units, be very careful with the units of centimetres squared. And that's us answered the question at last. Most pupils didn't know how to do this one, but there was a similar question. I think it was 2014 or 2015. There was a very similar question. So let's have a look at how this would have been marked. The first mark would be for the area of the triangle. So that would be for this. You don't have to get this answer to get the first mark. You don't have to actually get that. You just have to get up to this line. It's a bit odd why that's the case, but this line is 1 mark. The second mark is when you start to find the area of the sector, and this fraction is your second mark. So you then get the third mark for all of this. So all of that would be 2 marks in total, 1 for the fraction and 1 for this whole line. So that'd be 3 marks in total. Again, you don't have to get this area to get the third mark. The fourth mark is for knowing how to find the area of a sector, of the shaded portion. So even if you mess up the figures, you still get 1 mark for knowing a method, and that is you take away the area of the sector from the total of the triangle. So any way of making it clear that you know to take the sector area away from the triangle area gets you a mark. And the final mark would be for the answer. Let's have a look at the ways in which pupils lost marks, because there was a lot of ways, a lot of problems in this question that pupils had. Of course, no working would get you no marks, because this is one of those unseen questions. The marker is expecting you to show your method, because you get marks for a method in this question. So you have to show all of that. If you used radians or grad, then you'll lose 1 mark per paper. So if you lost the mark in another question, you might not lose the mark in this question because it's one mark per paper should be lost by the wrong use of either rad or grad. And you have to use trigonometry. If you don't use trigonometry, you will lose at least 2 marks. If you use any other method, not that there is any other method, but if you used length times the breadth times 1/2, then that's wrong and you'll lose multiple marks. This would have cost you all of the marks if you just found the area of a full circle, because it doesn't ask for the area of a circle. It asks you to find the shaded area, which involves you finding that of the sector, with the sector being a portion of a full circle. So I hope you found this useful. I will show you this one last time. I understand this was a very difficult question, but best of luck with the studying and thank you for watching.